Some people will tell me that I need to stay in my lane when I'm talking about RV parks, multifamily, what have you, because they think of me as a single family guy. The reality is, guys, I'm a creative finance guy. I focus on creative finance, the method of buying anything, even a business, multifamily, RV parks, mobile home parks, single family, what have you. All of this can be purchased with creative finance. Creative finance is the process of buying things without cash, without credit, and without credential. Now, in today's video, I'm gonna talk about why I love RV parks so much. And instead of just doing a whiteboard video, we're gonna be on site, in person, in Montana, with one of my business partners, Jordan Reyes. Now, Jordan Reyes joined the SubTo community a couple of years ago. Him and I've bought $7 million in RV parks. The first one, he just found a deal for me and I paid him 90 grand as a finder's fee. Now, stick around to the end of the video because I'm gonna be breaking down these numbers on this exact deal. Jordan and I walk through this park, show you the red flags, and the way an entrepreneur like me that's buying these RV parks, the way we think. And we're gonna be going through on a golf cart, kind of cruising through, and you'll see exactly my process when I'm walking a property for the first time. But at the end of this video, I'll break down and tell you whether this is a good deal or a bad deal. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and enjoy the video. This park is nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. And it's like you can't see it from the road at all.
Okay, so 11.5 million purchase price. Okay. It's overpriced.
Well, yeah.
If you're paying cash. If you're doing creative finance, so Jordan's working a deal where they would basically avoid all their capital gains tax. They bought it a couple years ago. They're trying to sell it for more money than what it's worth. But if you, we don't know. Okay. Montana is something called a non-disclosure state. And so when you pull up tax records, I wonder if Deal Sauce would show me what they bought it for. I bet it would.
It would. I think a lot of the times, it like with non-disclosures.
Yeah.
It'll be close. Somewhat close.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Unless it's traded off market. If it's traded off market, then it's
okay.
We don't know.
So they probably bought it for, let's say, 9 million a couple years ago, hypothetically. It could have been 8, and it's actually 2 parks in one. So it's this park.
I saw that it was 2 separate. Oh,
no.
This is all one.
This is all one.
This is all one park.
Then you have the other park is that it comes in the bundle is across the street from Glacier Peaks.
Okay.
The one we were at the other day. That park would come with it, but the seller, if let's say the seller bought it for $8 million a couple years ago, they want to get out of RV parks because it's not their core business. Like their core business is retail centers, is what you said?
Retails and gases, I think was what he said.
Yeah. And it's a slower pace, right? Also, when you start buying RV parks, it's like, let's scale RV parks and you rebrand them all to the same thing. So if they sold for 11.5 million after buying it for 8, they would end up paying something like $800,000 or $900,000 in capital gains tax. Oh, yeah. And so if you structure it the way Jordan's suggesting, which is, hey, we buy the park for, let's say, 5.5 million, and we add interest to it, so it totals 11.5 million once you receive all your interest, they wouldn't have to pay capital gains tax on the transaction.
On the 5.5?
On anything.
Because it's a cost basis.
They could even sell it as a cost. Yeah, so they could be like, we sold it as a loss.
Write it off too.
Yes.
Yeah. That's genius. Well, what's the holdup?
The holdup, there is no holdup. It's just a matter of like, they want $500,000 down.
Is that unreasonable or reasonable for some point?
For 11.5 million, it's incredibly reasonable.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you think about it, that is less than 5% down payment. Actually, that's
way less.
That's like 4% down payment. It's incredibly reasonable.
Okay.
So you put a $500,000 down payment down, you just would have to look at what their monthly payment would end up being. If you could structure the monthly payment that you're cash flowing on day one, because this park and the other one combined do $750, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they do roughly $65,000 a month combined in revenue between this park and the other park. So that's payroll, landscaping, maintenance, across the board.
Landscaping here is definitely a big cost.
Yeah. So you look at it and you go, you know what? We'd like to make, like back of the napkin math, is you go, it'd be great to make 15 grand a month net, okay? So let's say it's bringing in 65,000 a month. That means you take your $15,000 profit you want every month, and now you got 50 grand to play with. That you got to cover payroll, electrical, maintenance, every last thing, and the payment to the seller. That's how you underwrite it. Basically, I mean, you're going to throw it in a spreadsheet, but it's like, what would be the cost to run the park between the two? Let's say it's 30 grand. That means you could pay the seller $25,000 if it included taxes and insurance.
What's also interesting is just the different levels of parks.
Oh, dude, so different.
It's like you have this park, which is kind of borderline, almost luxury.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have Glacier Peaks, which is something in the middle. And then you have, let's take for example, Mountain View.
Yeah.
Which doesn't have any trees.
Yeah.
Right. It's very open. It's very, very much, hey, affordable, workers class.
This park is dope. Like, it's not have you ever been to the Jellystone ones?
I've been looking at them just from.
They're like the Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah.
Of camp stuff. This is like a JW Marriott.
Yeah.
You know, it's like really nice, and then you've got Glacier here. You can see the like mountains of Glacier, which is awesome. This is freaking dope.
Got some horseshoe pits over there.
And they got the work campers, or they got the work campers, whatever they call them. They're the ones that are building this stuff.
They built this stage, yeah.
They do live music out here, so all the residents converge out here.
Yeah.
Every single Tuesday, which is cool. It's mostly old people. The question is, does it make money?
I think the other thing with seasonal parks is that what you have to look at is there a way to structure that and leverage that in your negotiations? So if you're doing a seller finance, the sellers typically know what it's like to run the park. So you say, hey, Mr. Seller, what does it look like in the winter? Is there a way that we can structure it, quarterly payments, or change it to where it's higher in the summer, lower in the winter, or something like that?
Or you only make 3 payments.
Or you make 3 payments.
Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and then the last quarter you make no payments.
Yeah.
You know, type of thing.
And that's the nice thing about creative is you can do whatever you want.
I wonder if they own it free and clear, do you know?
So when we originally structured it, that deal, through the broker, and we were trying to kind of re-educate the accountant, right? Because the accountant told them, like, no, you can't do it. You're going to sell it for 11.5, you're paying capital gains on the entirety of it. Even if I gave you $500,000 down, he said, you're still paying capital gains. And they're like, well, we can't afford to do that then. So then I told him, like, hey, I'm not an accountant, but I don't think that's true. Let me ask a couple people. So then we went back to him and said, well, what if we structured it this way? And so he thought that they owned them both free and clear. He's getting me the mortgage. They have like a $2 million mortgage on it.
Combined?
So, yes, it's only on one park. So this one I think is free and clear. The other one has the $2 million on it. So if you look at it and you can shift it around a little bit, maybe you just pay $2 million for that, and then the entirety of the purchase goes here. There's a couple different ways to potentially structure it.
It's a lot of cash to have tied up in a project for them too. Like it's interesting the different type of investors there are too. It's like you get to a point where you just buy whatever this one's worth out of the portfolio. Let's say $6 million.
Yeah.
It's like you just buy something for $6 million in cash.
Yeah.
It's like, isn't there a better place to put that cash than a freaking RV park? So interesting.
Yeah. Well, so I guess for them, right, they were playing the traditional game. They were playing 1031, kicking it down the road.
So they had a ton of cash. Got it. Makes
right?
sense.
And so now they're at the spot where
they got a ton of cash that came from 1031s. They have a lot of unrealized capital gains, basically. Yeah. Makes sense. So much sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so now they're like getting to the point where they're like, I don't want to run it, and I don't want to necessarily go buy something else.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do we do? So what's interesting about this deal, I got this deal a couple of different ways. So the broker actually called me, right? So going back to the credibility thing, the broker calls me and says, hey, I think you guys own parks in the area. We have a listing that's coming up.
Smart broker.
Would you want to look at it?
Yeah.
Right? Of course, right? You have something in the area. Can we, put this on with those? And then somebody also submitted a deal to us on our website, but I don't know who did it because they didn't put the name. They put the broker's name and all the contact information from the broker. So I thought the broker went to our website, submitted it. So I called the broker and I'm like, hey, looks like you guys submitted a deal for us to look at. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Right? So we did get it 2 ways and the first time he called just off of a generic number. And then I figured out, it's the same parks. So when I talked to him that second time, I was like, let me go back and look at it then. If you didn't send this in, let me try and figure out who did. But that's how we found these parks and got first in contact with them. And then that's led to a conversation of like, hey, well, what if we did something creative? They originally turned it down. We go back. And so now they're like, okay, that might actually make sense.
It's interesting too. It's like you almost could go, it'd be cool if they could do a refinance on this park and suck let's say that this park's worth $7 million. They go do a refinance at $5 million. They get a big chunk of money, $5 million tax free.
Yeah.
And we just buy it SubTo and then have no payments on the $2 million for like 3 years or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that's the better way to structure it. Or it's maybe even a Morby method where you and I go get a mortgage with the same company just funded my Big Spring, Texas purchase. And then we set up the seller finance portion where they don't receive payments on, because they're going to get a big chunk of money all up front. Well, in that situation, they'd get cash.
They get cash.
It's better if they did a cash out refinance, all tax-free money. We then take it over SubTo, but then the seller finance portion we make no payments on. I wonder if that would still allow the property to cash flow.
That's where we really have to play with the numbers and see, right? So I think that, and this is like always our tactic, is we start with the ideal situation, 0 down, 0% interest, right? There's usually going to be some pushback. And so then when there's some pushback, now we've positioned ourselves to say, okay, well, how do we make this a win-win? You know, okay, if you want, $3 million in cash, what if we do it this way?
Yeah, but they're already okay with 500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost like, why would you even have them refinance other than, let's say they want a balloon of like, well, we want a balloon in 7 years. It's like, okay, well, why don't you just get a refinance and we don't have a balloon? Or our balloon is 15 years or something like that. Okay, so what's the next step with them?
Next step is they are open to it. They're pretty much on board. But then I found out yesterday that they have the 2.6. So I said, okay, well, we need the mortgage statement. And so he's getting us the mortgage statement to fully underwrite it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Here's the red flag on this park. Red flag on this park is that it's super seasonal, right? Like Glacier Peaks is semi-seasonal. In October, November, December, January, February, March, it still brings in money. This park brings in almost nothing because it's outside of Kalispell by 20, 30 minutes. So the only people that are really staying at this RV park are the ones that want to go to Glacier. So what does that mean? That means this park shuts down for 3 months out of the year, literally zero income. You'd still have to pay, which is why Jordan and I were saying you could structure the payments on a seller finance deal where you tell the seller, we're only going to pay you Q1, Q2, Q3, but we have no payment on Q4.
Yeah.
So even with that red flag, creative finance can overcome it. The other red flag is I don't really see one. I mean, I haven't seen their books. Maybe Jordan hasn't seen their books yet, but they have good work campers, host campers. Yeah. Like, look at these people that work for them. Are they in state or they live somewhere else?
So the couple that's in there right now, that's a nice rig right there, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's the type of clientele.
A lot more money,
Yeah. So the ones that are in there now are local. They live in
the owners. Are the owners local or no?
I don't know that actually.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, so if they're not local, if the owners are not local, that's actually a big green flag, because that means that the work campers are running all of this independently, where they don't have the owners coming in and babysitting.
Yeah.
That means that they got really good team members that are running all of this. It's perfectly manicured. It's freaking beautiful. Everything's organized. The shop is awesome. They've made good selections, and hopefully they're making money. They generate $750,000 a year in revenue. Of course, they're going to be making money because they have this paid off free and clear. Right. So for them, how did they get there? That's always an interest. Jordan figured that out. It's an important understanding. Why did these people come in and write a check for $7 million to buy this? They didn't. What they did is they were doing a 1031 exchange so many times that their 1031 exchange money got so big, they ended up having to buy such a big asset, all cash, otherwise they're gonna pay taxes. So this was actually a tax play for them, probably, which means that selling it will also be another tax play for them. And so when you structure the deal, I know this gets complicated, but when you structure the deal now, it's like, well, how do we get you almost no tax implication, which is what Jordan's been doing on the phone with the sellers for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. They hadn't been presented with it. Their accountant told them something completely different.
Yeah, their accountant doesn't know. It's the same thing with Eric, the guy from Glacier Peaks. His accountant's like, no, you can't do this. And then our CPA showed him, no, you can. And Eric's like, what the hell? Why didn't anybody tell me this? Yeah. So red flag is super seasonality, but if you can manage your cash flow, it's kind of like Glacier Peaks. We haven't sent out distributions because what we've done on Glacier Peaks is gone through a full year of going, all right, what does this look like? Where are the months where we make money and lose money? Now we've got $100,000 sitting in the bank. What does that actually look like? So this park would be very similar. You buy the park, you don't take any distributions for a whole year. That would be partners, because you want to see what the actual cash flow is. And then at the end of the 12 months, you go, okay, we got $100,000 sitting in the bank. Let's start taking distributions, type of thing. The parks that I have in Big Spring, Texas, those don't have seasonality. They're fully booked out all the time. So you can take monthly distributions from month one because you know you're gonna be fine throughout the year. If you started taking your profit in the summertime here, sometimes people are booking in 2026 summer on the site and your bank account gets that money, but you're writing a check that your ass can't cover because you've taken the money from in 2025 that is supposed to pay your payroll in 2026. So the cash flow management of an RV park is way different than the cash flow management of literally any other asset.
Yep.
I don't think any other asset's like this, by far. Yeah, cash flow management. What's cool about the work campers though, is like they live on site and they know the complaints, they know the things going on. Most of the work campers, like this guy, what's his name? Mark, who Jordan's been talking to, he lives right there in that red building.
Yeah.
Homeboy knows everything that's going on here.
And he's been coming here the last 10 years.
And he was a customer for 10 years. So like, that's the guy that runs the park, is the customer for 10 years. So he knows what people hate about the park. He knows what people love about the park. He probably even has come up with good ideas like this live music thing.
Yeah.
He built that. And plus, it's kind of a trophy asset too. It's like, hey, you're driving into Glacier National Park. It's right by Hungry Horse Reservoir. It's close enough to Glacier that it's not too far away. It's kind of like a really dope asset.
Yeah.
It's prime location to Glacier National Park, but it's also in between. You could get to Glacier, or Kalispell, you could get to Whitefish pretty easy. You could go to the park all day long and then go to Whitefish at nighttime.
Yeah.
There's a KOA down the road, but they're too far, I feel like, in towards Glacier, where it's like people only going to Glacier are gonna stay there. People are gonna stay here like, I'm 80% Glacier, but I wanna stay close enough to there and Hungry Horse.
What are the main things you're checking off?
If I'm brand new, I'm doing what Jordan did on his first deal with me.
Okay.
I'm finding a deal for Jordan or finding a deal for me and saying, hey, I found somebody that's interested in seller finance. I don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
And then Jordan partners with them, or I partner with them, or both of us. Jordan and I are mostly Montana. I buy in Texas as well. But you have a lot of people in Owners Club that are buying RV parks all over the country. So I would just go, RV parks, that's in over my head because I don't know how to do cash flow management and employee management, and I don't know how to deal with stuff, and that scares the shit out of me. So I would say, how do I bird dog an RV park for somebody before I jump into owning RV parks? That would be step one. Step two would be, hey, Jordan, Pace, I found this thing. Would you guys give me some ownership in a park that I find for you? Wedge method, what Jordan did with me, got paid 60 grand plus ownership, which gives you all the credibility to then take step three, which is, I think I can do the next park on my own, which is what Jordan did. He bought that badass Big Fork RV park, which is such a nice park. The other thing is I look at 100% of people on the planet that listen to my message or Jordan's message. 90% of them are going to overthink everything. And so what you do is you take the 90%, you go, let me remove all the ability to overthink. The other 10% are like, no, I can handle that. Like, tell me what questions to ask them. Those are the people that are ready for like part ownership, right? Bird dogging, find me an opportunity, I'll do the work. Wedge method is, let me tell you the 10 things I need you to figure out, then bring the opportunity to me, and now we can talk about some potential ownership, right? The things that you would worry about are, I need to know what the P&L looks like, the profit and loss statement. I need to know what the employee setup looks like. What's the seasonality? And what are the big improvements in the park? And then 5, what is a doomsday problem that this park could stop all revenue? What
Fire, stuff like that.
Glacier shuts down.
Dude, if Glacier shuts down because there's an avalanche or a forest fire, which there was when you drive through, you'll see this massive forest fire. Glacier was shut down 5 or 6 years ago for a whole year. Guess what happened to all these RV parks? Revenue cut off. So now, are you ready for that? Well, we have to look at that, and you got to store cash up to make sure that you can cover payroll even in the event of that situation.
Yeah.
Or like the RV park I'm looking at buying in Arizona right now, it's next to a copper mine. Everybody that works at the copper mine rents the RV park permanently. The RV park is like, we're selling right now. And I'm like, why are they selling? It's making so much freaking money. Oh, the Morenci mine is shutting down in 15 years. They already say all the copper is going to be completely gone. So you got to know the uh-ohs, holy shit, like red flag things, and you got to do the research. So that's why I say when you're in the beginning, don't even worry about that shit. Let Jordan and I look at that. That's why you get on site, you hear the traffic. It's one thing to be on site, online and looking at like, dude, this thing's sick. It's another thing to hear. Can you guys hear the traffic?
Yeah.
Cool. It's not bad.
No.
But then when you get up there, guess what? You can't hear it.
Yeah.
You can't tell that from online. So if you're brand new starting out, tip number 1, find somebody in Owners Club that's buying RV parks and go, where are you buying? I'll go look for those opportunities and I'll make the calls. Set those appointments up for somebody and let them do the work and watch how it unfolds. Jordan was on all the calls with Bo, who was on my team, and Molly, and talking to the seller and understanding the tax implications and how we're structuring this. We went back and restructured that contract, I don't know, 6 or 7 freaking times over a course of several months.
Yep.
And that's what you get when you do the Wedge method, is you get that experience of like, oh, I can do that. Oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do that. Then you get the creativity and you start doing the stuff on your own. So step 1, if you're an overthinker, like 90% of people are, start with bird dogging. Absolutely start with bird dogging. Get all the other overthinking stuff out of your way. In fact, somebody bringing this to the table could probably make $100,000 on a deal like this. Somebody that got as far as like a Jordan, let's say, did on this, where he's already had the conversation, he suggested some structures, but he's like, I don't have the capital and I don't have the management structure to take it on, and more or less, I also don't have the balls to take it on as an owner. Somebody coming in could probably get 10, 15% ownership of something like this if they got it as far as Jordan's got, if that makes sense. Also, they could go, I don't want ownership, just give me a bigger finder's fee.
Yeah.
And they could, if you got as far as Jordan's got right now, which is like almost to the point of contract, you just got a couple more weeks of like going back and forth on the numbers. The interested party is like, yes, we want to sell. Yes, we want to do creative finance. If you get it to the point of contract on an asset like this, you could probably assign it to a guy like Jordan and I for like $200,000 assignment fee.
Yeah.
Jordan, how'd you find this?
The broker reached out.
The broker reached out.
Yeah.
He saw that Jordan owned other parks in the area and called him up and said, hey, I've got a listing coming up. These guys are looking to get out of RV parks. I know you're an RV park owner. That's a great broker, by the way. Mm-hmm. That's what brokers and agents should be doing, is finding buyers for not just putting a sign in the yard and putting it on the site, actually calling people up like they called Jordan. So he called Jordan and said, would you be interested? Jordan then basically said, yeah, but I really only do creative finance. Okay, sick.
Anything else you want to cover?
The things I do like about the red flags, especially when you're talking with an owner, is the red flags then become
The negotiation point,
tactics.
It's a little stab in the side. Well,
Yeah.
It's seasonal.
Yeah.
Well, it's this.
Yeah. And they know that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you were going, if we took this to a bank, you go to a local bank or
Yeah.
whatnot, they're not going to care about that. They don't run the asset. They don't understand it.
Yeah.
They just are looking at the piece of paper going, okay, here's what we can lend, and your payment's going to be the same every month.
Right.
We don't care that it's seasonal. You got to figure that out.
Yeah, this is a great asset, dude. Here's the craziest thing about this. When you buy an RV park like this, the seller gets massive tax benefits by selling it to us on seller finance. We actually get massive tax benefits for buying it with almost no money out of our pocket. So let's say we buy it for $11.5 million. Jordan and I would get $11.5 million of tax benefits on this property. The amount of tax depreciation you'd get on a park like this with all the roads and all the crap would probably save me $3 million in taxes. So you'd buy this property. Let's say I even put up $500,000 of my own cash. I would avoid, let's say I make $10 million in a year. I'm an NBA player, let's say, hypothetically, and I make $10 million bucks. What's my tax implication on $10 million? $4 million. This park would make it so you're tax-free for the whole year. So you get to keep your $10 million. I know you got to see it on a whiteboard to see how it works out, but holy shit. You're gaming the IRS on both sides. Mm-hmm. The seller gets to game them legally, and we get to game them legally without having to get a bank loan, without having to use credit, without really even, we could even bring private money in at $500,000. We're in no money out of pocket. We get millions of, Jordan wouldn't pay taxes for like 2-3 years because of the tax benefits on this in year 1. You'd have a carry forward for like 3 years on this property.
Yeah.
Holy shiz, dude. You want to make more money? Keep more money. That's like the ultimate cheat code. All right, so obviously I get out on site and I get excited about being there, and I get excited and I start thinking, I'm gonna be the owner, but it comes down to the numbers, and we need to underwrite things. And I want to show you guys how to do a first pass underwriting to see if this is actually a good opportunity or not. Now check this out. Again, thebiggesttchallengeever.com starting today, September 8th. We are making this YouTube live today, September 8th. Go over to thebiggesttchallengeever.com. We will be live from 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and 7 p.m. Arizona time. I'll be live for 2 or 3 hours, 4 days in a row, talking about where do I find RV parks, how do I underwrite them deeper than what I'm going to show you right now? Scripting them, contracts. I'm going to give you guys contracts, like $3,000 or $4,000 of contracts you guys can use. And then I'll show you guys how to finance these parks. Now, let's go over to this park. Let me break this down for you. After talking to the seller, we asked the seller, how much does this park currently generate in revenue, right? I want to know the income of the park. It's a business after all, right? RV parks are not just real estate. It's real estate that has a business inside of it. So we find out that the income is $550,000. So that's pretty good, right? $40,000, $45,000 on a given month. But here's the number you need to look at right here, NOI. NOI stands for net operating income. It's actually a really stupid acronym. People in multifamily and big commercial business, guys, it's the dumbest acronym of all time. Acronym meaning they take 3 words, they put them together, and they give you the initials, right? Net operating income, NOI. And what this number means is that we're gonna take out all expenses out of the 550, right? So we brought in $550,000 into this park. We paid out our payroll. We paid out our taxes. We paid out our insurance. We paid out our management. We paid out the landscaping and all the other maintenance items, software costs, all of those things. But what we did not take out is our debt service, okay? Dre, do you know what debt service means? Okay, guys, Dre, our camera guy, doesn't even know what debt service is. We're gonna teach you what debt service is. Dre, do you have a car payment? Gosh, bro, are you freaking rich? This is crazy. Okay, so have you ever had a car payment?
I have, yes.
Okay, that would be called your debt service on your car payment. So your car payment is your debt service, right? You have a debt that you owe the car loan company and you service that loan. It's called debt service. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's a really fancy way of saying my monthly payment for the loan that I got. Stupid. People in multifamily and like high level commercial stuff, they use the hardest level words to keep all the newbies out. They don't want the newbies learning any of this stuff. So debt service. So you're telling me that this park makes $250,000 only if I bought it cash. Ooh, all right. Well, what do you want for this? They want $7 million. Okay, so Dre and everybody on camera land, YouTube land, check this out. If I had $7 million in cash, that means I would make $250,000 in my pocket at the end of the year. That's what that means. If I bought it for cash, my NOI would go into my pocket. That would be, instead of having a bank, the money would just come to me directly. Do I want to go put $7 million into something to get a mere $250,000 in return? Absolutely not. You got a calculator, Scott? Let's pull this out. Scott's here with us. We're going to pull out a calculator. Let's figure out what's our return on that investment. Do $250,000 divided by $7 million, okay? And that'll give us the percentage. I'm guessing it's probably like 4%, 3.5%. So guys, do we want to go put $7 million of our hard-earned cash into an investment that gives us a 3.5% return on our investment? Yes or no? If inflation right now is at 3%, it's probably more like 6 or 7%. That means that we are losing money on this park as it regards to cash flow. So immediately, I already know that price is too high, okay? From a cash perspective. Now, this is where creative finance comes in. I immediately, on the first pass underwriting, what I would do on this park is I would immediately write back to the broker and the seller and go, hey, if we're looking to buy this for $7 million, which is your asking price, that means I'm only getting a 3.5% return on my money. Probably not a good deal for us. 1, here's my cash offer, $4 million probably. Let's see, what would it make sense for me? I want a 10% return on my money. So that means if I get a 10% return on my money, I've got a 2.5, I got to buy this park for like $4 million bucks. Maybe. Scott, do me a favor, $250,000 divided by $4 million. I bet that's still not enough. $250,000, okay, I gotta buy this park. In order for me to get a 10% return on my money, cash on cash return, okay, I put cash in, I get cash out, my cash on cash return, I gotta be probably somewhere closer to like $2 million on this park, okay? That's how I know what kind of return do I want on my money, and that's how I base my offer. 2.5 million. This guy wants $7 million. Now, this is the beautiful thing about creative finance, is I could pay $7 million for this park. I would just have to ask for 40-year payments or 50-year payments, and I would ask for a lower monthly payment, okay? Because I gotta now pay the seller out of my $250,000 because they're now my debt service, if that makes sense, okay? So I could go, all right, well, there's $250 a year. In order for me to own this park, I wanna take home $150,000. I could go to the seller and go, hey, I'll pay you $7 million a year or $7 million purchase, but I only want to give you $100,000 in payments every single year for that. That's how I would structure that, because guess what's left over for me? $150,000. Now that park makes sense. I can go do a no money down, tell them I'll pay you $100,000 a year to take over your park, and I'll net $150,000 myself. Now, of course, I can go and improve the park and raise the awareness, get better marketing, et cetera, and I can raise that income. But as it stands right now, cash price, in order to make it make sense for me, is $2.5 million. Does that make sense, Dre? Did you pick up a couple things? Yeah. Are you now an RV park master? Okay. In order for you to be an RV park master, I want to give you 4 days of this, okay? Thebiggeschallengeever.com, this is happening today, September 8th, 9th, 10th, and the 11th. We're going to be doing 2 to 3 hours a day live. I'm going to be showing you where to find these. There's 17,000 of these across the country. I'll show you which ones to stay away from and which ones to zero in on. I'll teach you underwriting. This is basic. I call this first pass underwriting. We'll do some more in-depth underwriting, scripting, contracts, financing. But one of the biggest things I want you to learn is how to get a finder's fee for bringing deals like this to people like me. Jordan Reyes, who you saw in this video, shout out to him. Love Jordan. He's one of our leaders in SubTo. Jordan has been paid by me $90,000 for bringing RV parks to me in the past that I bought, paid him a finder's fee, and these things are cash flowing at $20,000 a month in my pocket. So it's a win-win to teach you how to go find these parks and bring them to people like me. And I'll also be introducing you to some other SubTo members that you can bring deals to on the live. So head over to thebiggestchallengeever.com. We'll see you guys over there. And in the meantime, give us a little bit of love in the comments. Tell Dre he's awesome for paying off his car. And also tell Scott thank you for letting us use your Android for our calculator today. So we'll see you guys in the next episode.